Hey there, everybody. Thanks for being here. I know I don't thank you viewers often enough, but I do appreciate it. There's a lot of people you could watch online, and I'm privileged that you picked me to invest some of your time with, so thanks for that. It was kind of wet snow overnight, and anyway, I spent a couple hours this morning with the big snow thrower doing driveways for the neighbors and the walkway through the park here so that the dog walkers and whoever else can enjoy that. Just getting busy on that Stihl MS261C that I was working on. I had to wait for the fuel solenoid to come in. So just going to go through that, give you a little bit of an idea of the easiest way so far that I've found to replace them without having to pull a lot of it apart. And seems like every time I end up getting a pack of these or doing one, I end up with different part numbers. I'll cut that open in a minute here. So anyway, I guess what I was going to say is it is important to take your serial number to the dealer with any of these Stihl M-tronics and make sure you get the right one. There's a kit where you can get the fuel filter and the solenoid, or just the solenoid, and it seems pretty important to keep up on that. The fuel filters have a finer mesh on them than a lot of the aftermarket type ones, so definitely worth using the right one. When I pulled the plug out of this, it does look pretty gray. Let's see where you guys at. There we go. Maybe it doesn't look as gray on the camera, but it looks pretty gray to me. So I'm thinking that it is blocked up a bit there, so I think it's definitely due. Okay, let's see. So basically what I end up doing, obviously your top cover, your filter, and then I take this guy out after I pull the plug, and that gives you enough room to actually get at the solenoid, which is right here. You'll end up needing, I'll have to double check here, it's either a T10, I think, I'm pretty sure it's a T10 to get at that guy. Just enough room to move it out of the way so you can actually get to the solenoid. So yeah, so I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, so I'm trying to turn the saw toward you so there's hopefully enough light there to be able to see it. Get the lighter out of me, I guess. Right, so this lower bolt is actually quite long, so just be expecting that. And then the other one you'll need, oops, try not to drop her in, is for this little clip that actually holds the solenoid in place. So you need that out of there as well. And then let's see here. So then you can move this down, just out and down a little bit, so that you don't have to take all that filter mount and choke rod and all that stuff out of there. And then just gonna make sure my screwdriver's pretty clean here. Okay. Let's see here. Now the wiring on these ones is a little bit finicky too. I'm just gonna unplug this, so you push this tab down and it opens up the clip at the, probably can't see that, clip at the back when you push this down. Come on, there. So then you can open that up. And hopefully can work this guy up. Maybe I'm going down the wrong road here. Okay. So there's our little solenoid out. It is going to take me a second here to remember how that comes out. Smaller screwdriver. Okay, so then with quite a small flat head, just catch it on the edge there, just to basically move it just a hair. There's some little ears on the side that when you're doing this you'll see them, and anyway, once you get it to come up a little bit, then you'll be good. Okay, and just make sure you don't mix them up. And let's see here if I can show you. So hopefully that shows up. There's a little ear right there that is a little bit tricky to grab anyway, so okay. There's a variety of opinions on whether or not these need grease. You can check your little details or look around and see what you want to do. Either way seems to work. Okay, and put our fastener back together, tip that back up where it goes, and then, like I said, Torx T10. And you just got to be real careful with these, because I don't have a magnetic tip on this thing, and they're pretty fine. So okay, so then that little tab has a tab on the end of it as well. It actually goes into a hole to hold it in the correct position, so that it actually clamps or puts pressure across the end of the solenoid there. So you want that, and then you want this longer one like I mentioned here. Get that guy back in where it came from. Okay, so that gets rid of, in my opinion anyway, a lot of hassle. But if you find it's better to pull the carb off, you can definitely do that. I don't find these 261s or the 362s very enjoyable to work on. They do some dumb stuff, like these nuts here to hold the filter mount on. They've made the holes undersized here, so you need a very thin socket to get at those. You can grind them down with an angle grinder on the outside, just to make it thin enough to get in there. But yeah, just stupid shit. Anyway, that's my rant. Hope you have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back in the shop tomorrow. All right. Now I'll just finish putting her back together. I really don't get on these ones why they decided to put this one here underneath the cover instead of being able to pull your recoil off without having to take the top cover off. But it's a German engineering thing, I guess. Anyway, so you got to do her in that sequence of events. Rattle these guys in a little bit just so they're tight. Obviously, you don't want to go crazy with them with a big driver and strip them off, because you're just going into aluminum, and steel threads on a bolt are always harder than aluminum is. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. Still says in their service manuals that an annual thing for replacing the filter and that fuel solenoid, and I'd say if you're in dirty and dusty stuff, then probably a better idea to do her a little bit more often. What I started to say is at the start of the video there was that seems like just about every time I get one of these, it's a different part number, and then it's also a different price. But anyway, sometimes it's more cost effective to buy the filter separate and the solenoid separate, and sometimes buying the service kit, which includes both of them, is cheaper. So I guess if the difference in $3 or $4 or $5 is a factor to you, then get your parts guy to check it both ways. That's the minute that they work for you, and you can make sure they're helping you save a few bucks. But anyway, either way it needs done. I believe that when those get plugged up, then even with the M-tronic, it's not able to feed enough fuel even when it tries to richen it up. And I think that's when a lot of these ones end up running lean. So I'm going to run this one a little bit before I send it back, and just I'll probably pull the plug again as well, see if it made a difference, and go from there. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Take care. All right, so I made some cuts with it. There's a little debate on whether you need to follow the exact procedure or whatever. I guess at the end of the day, these things are supposed to be resetting to what you're actually doing with the saw. But if you leave it sitting idling or just zipping a few limbs off, it may end up resetting itself to that type of work, and then you might end up sticking her in a big log, and it might take a few cuts before it reprograms to that kind of work. So anyway, let's just see what she's like now here. there you have. There's a steel tab right there that I gotta watch I don't cut into. So, okay, thanks for tuning in.